He trusted the wrong people. He was going through a difficult time in his life. And he ran with a story that ended up being false. The court has instructed you. At the time, Steve Buchanan was somebody that he trusted. And Wolfgang Halbig, as far as he was concerned, seemed credentialed. He made a terrible mistake. Okay? But what happens next? That mistake was weaponized by the same political forces that had descended upon Sandy. And it was magnified and amplified throughout the 2016, and we talk about, it's sad, we talk about people feeding off these children. I mean, politicians, the news media, right? I mean, it's happening everywhere. And so it becomes this election issue, and that magnifies it. And let's get one thing straight, that both Mr. Heslin and Ms. Lewis testified, and is corroborated by Dr. Crouch's patient notes, which are contemporaneous. Before 2018, neither Scarlett Lewis nor Neil Heslin had ever watched a single Alex Jones broadcast. They hadn't. So Megyn Kelly is running her hit piece. And we didn't get from the evidence why Neil reached out to her or how that process worked. It's just a gap in the evidence, because you all need to base your verdict on the evidence. So I don't know. Perhaps it's fair to infer that because of the campaign coverage that had been given to the Sandy Hook event, he felt he needed to reach out. The point is, after that, Alex finds out what's going to happen, and he tries to intervene. He goes on his show. He accuses the mainstream media of perverting what he's saying, what he no longer believes. He reaches out to Neil Heslin, well, to all the Sandy Hook families, right? He never mentions Neil by name. And guess what? Nobody listens. Why doesn't anybody listen? Because Alex's platform isn't that big. He's not Hillary Clinton. He's not Megyn Kelly. When he goes on, not that many people listen. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to minimize his platform. He has a platform, but it's not the kind of national platform that they're talking about. And that came through in the evidence. He's got 80 employees. At the time, 50 employees. And this is not the New York Times. This isn't CNN. This is a talk show in Austin, Texas. So Neil goes on the show, and Owen Schroyer, a young reporter, runs this zero hedge piece. And the court has found that that piece was defamatory. What did we learn from the witness stand? Neither Neil nor Scarlett knew about it. They had no idea about Owen Schroyer's report until almost a year later. And I've put it to you that it is fair to infer from the evidence that someone, something weaponized Neil and Scarlett's grief and convinced them that Alex Jones was responsible. I asked them both on the stand, did you review the videos? No. And I'm not saying that they should, right? But I asked them, how did you come to this conclusion that Alex Jones is the root of all that is wrong with your life? And the only answer they had is that that's what I've heard. That's what I'm convinced of. You all sitting here have the chance to actually examine that And that's what actual damages are about, right? Is about examining whether Alex's actions and his words actually caused harm. The most important evidence in the case are the videos, right? The complete unedited videos. They are a contemporaneous record of everything that Alex said. The plaintiffs have excellent records, and they've spared no expense. They chose the case that they wanted to put on. And the case that they wanted to put on did not have 27 hours of video. I changed this because it changed during their closing. I did have a nice PowerPoint. I have received some criticism for my flip charts. I hope everybody can see it. Between 2012 and 2018, in evidence, we have 18 hours and 43 minutes of video. What did we get from the witness stand in terms of how much time Infowars is broadcasting? Alex Jones testified, and so did Daria Karpova, that during the early years, it was 7 hours a day, and that went up to 10 hours per day in 2017. If you take 18 hours and 43 minutes and you divide it by the amount of time, 11,947 hours that they were on the air, that gives you 0.16%. I propose to you, we've spent more time talking about Sandy Hook during this trial than Alex Jones or his organization spent in 6 years talking about it. And they want to tell you that that drove people insane?
Don't have to object. For the same reason, we don't know what all the videos are. We've established that.
In evidence,
In evidence, Your Honor.
that's all, but not, we don't know in the world, don't.
Your Honor, I object to the commentary on the evidence. Your job and your instruction from the court is to base your verdict on the evidence that has been admitted.
What's he
and the
looking at?
testimony that we've received.
Is he looking at jail time?
They chose what case to bring. We don't want to be here at all.
Is Alex
have
Jones
the
looking
burden.
at jail time? Do you guys know?
0.16%. And not only that, as we know,
If Alex Jones is guilty, what will he get?
Mr. Heslin and Miss Lewis, I'm sorry I called them Neil and Scarlett earlier. That might have not been respectful of me, and I apologize for it. Mr. Heslin and Miss Lewis did not see any of those videos.
Oh, it's a defamation
They
trial.
both testified. Let's talk about the law. In your jury instructions, there are several pieces that I would like to bring particular attention to. The first,
I think it's going to be a fine. Yeah, it's a defamation character. Slander.
this was something we talked about during board order. Do not let bias, prejudice, or sympathy play any part in your decision. I put it to you that most of the presentation we've had thus far has been about bias and prejudice and sympathy. We entered this courtroom already having lost. That's why we're here just about damages. Yet that is what we hear the least about in this courtroom. Why is that? Because Mr. Heslin and Miss Lewis are tremendously sympathetic people. They are.
He pleaded not guilty. That's crazy.
My heart goes out to them for their loss. They are tremendously sympathetic. But that has no role in the dispassionate oath you took to decide this case based on the facts. Similarly, thinking that Alex isn't a good person or hasn't done the right thing, if some of you all think that, should play no role in deciding whether there have been actual damages and to what extent, and whether they have been proven. Because now we can talk about what's been proven. Instructions. Subpoint 2. Base your answers only on the evidence admitted in court and on the law in these instructions. Truth may be an amorphous concept outside this room. But in this room, truth comes from evidence, actual evidence that's been admitted. This is a long one. Proximate cause. You'll see it on every one, starting on page 5, each one of the questions. The second full paragraph is proximate cause.
Insanity plea.
I'll give you a moment to read it for yourself.
Right.
Before I can. There are two aspects of proximate cause that I want to bring particular attention to.
What?
One,
come here.
Proximate cause means a cause that was a substantial factor in bringing about the injury. A substantial factor. 18 hours and 43 minutes over 6 years. Reasonable foreseeability. The act or omission complained of must be such that a person using ordinary care would have foreseen that the injury or some similar injury might reasonably result therefrom. Ask yourself, how reasonable is it for a talk show host in Austin, Texas, to believe that 18 hours and 43 minutes of coverage that we have in evidence would cause people to harass Neil Heslin and Scarlett Lewis? Pre-existing condition. We all know what that is. It's the horrific death of their child. I can't imagine the pain and suffering and anguish that comes from it. Dr. Crouch testified that it's not something you ever get over. I think he's absolutely right. So ask yourselves, take that when you go back to deliberate, think about that. Think about proximate cause. Think about pre-existing conditions. And follow the evidence as you heard it from the witness stand and as it came in through the videos.
Bill
Let's talk about the
Jones.
evidence. You know, this can be a stressful profession. And I have a hobby. I shoot a bow and arrow. It helps me to just concentrate on one thing and clear my mind of everything else. Now, I go to a range to do that. If I went to my range and shot for a couple of hours, and then sometime later, the owner of the range came to me and said, hey, there's been some damage to the range, and we think you did it. I'd say, well, how do you know? They say, no. We think you did it because you shot a lot of arrows. And I'd say, well, did you look at the arrow? Did you examine it? Well, no. I say, okay. Well, was anybody else out there shooting at the same time? I say, no, we don't care. You were out there. And then finally I said, well, you haven't looked at the arrows. You haven't looked at if anybody else was out there. And the answer is, well, someone told us you did it. You say, who? Who told you this? Well, I don't know. Right? That's kind of like the evidence we got in this case. Did Alex Jones make these statements? Yes, he did. And he genuinely apologized on the witness stand repeatedly. He said that they fell short. And I heard your question.
Is there an echo for you guys?
Are you
Jones,
gonna
is there an
change
echo?
these? Have you changed these? What are you going to do so that this doesn't happen?
I never even thought of that.
And he answered those questions truthfully. And his employees answered those questions truthfully as well.
No? Okay.
Corroboration. I spent a lot of time with Dr. Lubit talking about corroboration.
Yeah, I wanted to make sure there wasn't
Hey,
an
Dr.
echo.
Lubit,
Oh,
you're
excuse me.
saying all these things. Did you take any steps to corroborate them? Did you interview the neighbors? Did you ask for a police report? Did you do anything at all to substantiate that these things had happened? No. And one of you asked him, if I remember correctly, one of you asked him, hey, Dr. Lubit, words to this effect, hey, Dr. Lubit, if media organizations should substantiate their sources, why shouldn't forensic psychiatrists? And he just said, well, that's different. That's different. If the lawyers don't prove it, then you can throw out my entire opinion. Where's the evidence? Where's the evidence? Again, look to Dr. Crouch. First mention of Alex Jones, 2018. And he said he had nothing before that. I put to you, use your recollection. Dr. Crouch was handed an affidavit and asked to testify. His notes, his contemporaneous interviews did not reflect this pattern of harassment that has been discussed. Again, where is the evidence? Also, go back to the number of hours. You'll have the exhibit. Look at how many broadcasts were made in 2012, in 2013. Scarlett Lewis testified that when she was at the wake for her son, she heard somebody talking about a conspiracy. You know that Alex Jones wasn't saying that the children had to die. Wolfgang Halbig. He actually is the only person we can say definitively ever did anything to Scarlett Lewis and Neil Heslin. We've got 2 emails.
Does Joe Biden have a brother?
Bear in mind, this is a man who supposedly sent thousands of emails. Where are they? Where are the recordings? We heard testimony that Scarlett Lewis has a sophisticated home security system. That's all we heard about. We didn't get any records. We didn't get any video. This case has been pending since 2018. If there were the kind of pattern of
Hey,
harassment
George,
that we're
doesn't
talking
surprise me.
about,
There's no notification, that's for sure.
where's the evidence?
I was just playing around on the laptop in the bedroom, and I seen
And
this, so I
critically
figured I'd
important also
scream it.
Is the fact that the evidence shows that Alex Jones never said Scarlett Lewis's name. And Owen Schroyer said Neil Heslin's name for
Hey,
the
Salty.
first time in 2017.
Thanks, guys.
They never published their addresses. Never even thought about it, really. There's no evidence. And there again, we're speculating, if people were approaching them, which there's no evidence of, where did they get that from? You have the videos to watch that the plaintiffs put in evidence. Is that more consistent with Alex Jones having directed some kind of harassment, or with people like Wolfgang Halbig who are mentally ill, obsessed, acting on their own? Unfortunately, in a free society, there is risk associated with choice. We live in a community where
Man,
some
this lawyer
people
just keeps talking, eh?
are unbalanced and are going to take
This
action
has got
on
this has
their
got to
own.
be Alex's lawyer. I think it is.
Is that reasonably foreseeable to every broadcaster? Most importantly, there was no call to action. Look through the videos. None. Mental anguish. This is where a pre-existing condition comes in, and where you can also ask yourselves, who is responsible for the mental anguish? Is it Alex Jones or is it someone else? Follow your oath. It's not going to be popular. But zero evidence equals minimal damages. It's just like that auto accident we talked about during Bordier. You have the auto accident, somebody gets hurt. We talked about this. They say, hey, you break it, you buy it, right? If you lie about somebody and you hurt them, then you pay for it. How do you know? Show me the receipts. Show me the lost wages. Show me the healthcare costs. Show me the costs associated with therapy. Who asked those questions in this court? I did. That is evidence for you. And it came from our side. Because we're interested in truth. Not in edited video clips and supposition. Remember, you will have an opportunity to decide punitive damages. We are here about actual damages. And you all are smart people. You wouldn't be on this jury if you weren't smart people. We want smart people. We want people who are going to be diligent. People who are going to look at the evidence, who are going to follow their oath to decide the case on the facts. Damage to reputation. Again, where's the lost job opportunity? Where's the credit line that wasn't extended? Where's the social organization that was denied him membership? We had no evidence to corroborate that anyone thinks less of Neil Heslin in his community. Zero evidence equals minimal damage. Ask yourselves, who's really responsible for these parents' pain? Is it Adam Lanza's mother who bought him the gun? Is it Adam Lanza who murdered her and then murdered 26 children? Is it the mainstream media misreporting the facts and events around Sandy Hook? Is it the truthers who are out there waiting for events like these to happen? Or is it the talk show host? Life is complicated. This job is complicated. Think about proximate cause. That instruction that is before every one of those questions. Was Alex Jones' broadcast a substantial factor? And was it reasonably foreseeable to him? I forgot to mention, how about our electoral system that magnify and broadcast? That's not something Alex Jones did. It's something a campaign politician did in order to paint their opponent. What fault do they bear? Megyn Kelly, what responsibility does she have?
I have to object to the responsible third party, but
Right.
$150 million. It's their job to ask for a lot of money. It's your job to decide the case based on the evidence. There's a concept called anchoring. And the idea of anchoring is that if you say a really, really big number, people are going to work off it. So if you say $150 million, and then you guys go back and say, oh, man, I don't think they proved it. I don't think they proved it. So why don't we give them 10% and award $15 million? That's not how this process works. They have the burden of proof. They start from zero and they work their way up from there. And it's very creative. I mean, the was it 24%? They brought in Becca Lewis, who's working on her PhD. They brought in a grad student who read selected excerpts from other people's publications and then cited a study that if she'd taken the time to Google it, I asked her about this. If she'd taken the time to Google it, she would have found out that it's widely discredited. She admitted that there was an article by The Atlantic talking about it.
This is widely discredited.
Let's just move on.
Ask yourselves, is that number reasonable? I mean, there's 12 of you. Do 3 of you think Sandy Hook never happened? It's not reasonable. It's not right. And think about what $150 million represents. A person making $100,000 a year would have to work for 1,500 years to make $150 million. It would take 18 generations to make $150 million. And that's assuming you didn't spend anything. Let's say you saved half your money. 3,000 years. 32 generations. This isn't a real number.
What is Alex Jones worth?
You know,
I'm really curious about that.
I asked my son about $150 million. And he said, you know,
Hey,
that would weigh
ECAPs, lick my nuts.
33,000 pounds. The equivalent of 8 fully grown elephants.
Let's get this channel going. Let's get this channel rocking. We used to do the YouTube thing.
This is a hard part of my presentation.
Let's do this.
And I took a long time thinking about this. And I went back and forth in my mind as to whether I would say these words and show you what I'm about to show. And ultimately,
2.5, that's not much.
Is because I believe in the process. I am committed to what we're doing right here. To 12 individuals, members of the community, deciding a case based on the evidence and holding people to their burden of proof. Question 1. Defamation.
Right?
What amount of money
Jury duty would be like shit.
would compensate?
How's the audio on this?
for
The audio okay
damages
on
that
this?
were approximately caused by Alex Jones.
I got a little meteorite
2 dates of
microphone
June
for here.
26, 2017 and July 20th, 2017. Those are the dates of the defamatory publications. Have we even seen the July 20th, 2017 one? Injury to reputation that he sustained in the past. He didn't even see Alex Jones' show until 28. $1. Not proven. Not proven. Injury to his reputation that Neil Heslin will sustain in the future. This trial is being broadcast to the world. I mean, the eyes that we have around us. I think Neil Heslin can walk out of here with his head held high. He's told the world his story. Alex Jones has told the world his story. He sat on that witness stand. Alex Jones did and said, I believe those children died. I am very sorry for the coverage that we gave. There is no reputational harm going forward. Not proven. Not proven. Mental anguish that Neil Heslin sustained in the past. Proximate cause. Is his mental anguish the result of what Alex Jones did? Ask yourselves, was he a substantial factor?
Oh yeah, I'm younger.
18 hours
I'm younger
and
than
43
Alex.
minutes over 6 years. It's an average of 3 hours per year. That was the evidence they chose to bring. Not proven. I don't like this, but this is what the law requires. And you'll have your chance if you want to punish Alex Jones. You'll have your chance. Mental anguish and reasonable probability that Neil Heslin will sustain in the future. I hope to God that this process has been good. I hope to God that you've gotten some level of closure. I really do. Both of you. What's been proven? Ask yourselves, what's been proven? Caused by Alex Jones. You need actual evidence. I'm not going to belabor the point. These are repetitive. Question number 2 relates to intentional infliction of emotional distress. From 2013 to 2018. First paragraph. He never even watched his videos. That was the evidence we had in the witness chair.
Can't super chat.
How can we say that Alex Jones caused more than minimal damage?
That's why I want to get this channel
But Mr.
monetized. That's why
Heslin
I'm
didn't
doing
even
all of this.
see his broadcast.
Trying
We
to,
don't have
anyways,
a
but we'll see what
single-
happens.
There was I actually wrote this down. The plaintiff's attorneys referred during their closing to harassment online. You recall what Neil Heslin said about how much he likes computers? I do. He said he doesn't even like his cell phone. He's not a computer guy. What type of online harassment are we talking about? Was that proven? Is there actual evidence of that? No. How about in the future? Ask yourselves, what are we doing here? I said before, I hope there is closure. I hope this sordid, sad story comes to an end in the next couple of days. After you come
Thanks,
back with
you,
your
Mike.
verdict on punitive.
Means a lot.
But there's been no evidence. that there will be future mental anguish that was caused by Alex. Mr. Heslin
I don't know how
He's
many hours we
very-
need.
very, very upset.
Let me check.
And I think that is genuine. But that is not what you base a verdict on. That he is upset is step one. You need to be sure that this man caused it. Scarlett Lewis, 2013 to 2018. No contemporaneous records. She testified that she spent at least, I think, $50,000 in therapy.
Yeah, we need.
No contemporaneous records.
We got 1,600 hours. We need 14. We need 4,000 hours.
4 years that this litigation is pending.
We need
that
2,400
there is
hours left.
every incentive to preserve everything. And we have an email from Wolfgang Hall. I think overall we had 2 emails. There was one from 2015 that somehow
could get this
made its way
fucking
into
cat
the video's
Rocky.
possession through one of those email drops. 2019, one email. They admitted it separately. They put 2 different exhibit stickers on it. But remember when I
Thanks
asked about
everybody
it,
that's here right
it was an
now.
attachment
Appreciate it.
to a single email.
Get these watch hours up
Not
there.
proven. Future mental anguish damages. Not proven. I understand these numbers. I understand your job is hard. And maybe I would even understand if you said, you know what? We feel like we should give them some money for mental health care so that they can continue. I don't think it's supported by the evidence, but I can see that. The evidence shows that plaintiffs have been victimized 4 times by Adam Lanza, by politicians and members of the mainstream media, by the truthers,
Right? Something.
and by those
It's
people
messed up.
who took their grief and weaponized it. And I'm profoundly sorry for that.
Yeah.
I think it is a sad reflection on the state of our nation.
Video seems all right.
There's a couple things that came
Not bad
out
for a web camera.
during Mr. Farah's closing argument that I think are worth addressing because I don't want there to be any confusion. Mr. Farah made reference to Wolfgang Halbig's disgusting Super Bowl picture from, if you look at it, odd.tv. I elicited from several witnesses that picture never made its way onto the floor. There is a line in the videos where it says Sandy Hook children perform at Super Bowl. It's in 2013. We had evidence that they did perform at the Super Bowl. And Infowars covered. Look a couple before
Right?
there.
It's got to
I
be
think
driving him
You
nuts.
have one.
And a
that-
while ago, the lawyer turned around and said that Alex Jones had no audience. Like
Sandy
he's a
Hook
very
survivor
small audience.
remembers falling
And I was
victim.
just like, wow, that's got to eat him up.
Again, they got to pick the evidence they brought in here. They picked the worst.
Especially when the
things
lawyer's
they
like,
could
he
find.
doesn't even have anybody.
And if you take their video clips and add them together, it's not 18 hours and 43 minutes. It's 90 minutes. 90 minutes over 6 years, they say, caused all this harm. Alex Jones may not be to your particular taste, but millions of Americans tune in to be informed, to be entertained, to have their voices heard. Verdict, the word verdict, it comes from the Latin. Verdict, to speak the truth. Speak the truth in your verdict because you're deciding for them and for all Americans. Do you want to choose what you get to watch and listen to? Or
Yeah,
do you
baby.
want a plaintiff's attorney to decide for you?
Sustain.
Objection, leading the witness.
There was a Lutheran minister named Martin Niemöller.
John Nice. Making me some?
And he was imprisoned in a concentration camp. And when he got out, he reflected on the fact that he had stood quiet. And he said, first they came for the communists. And I
Nice,
said,
nice.
I'm
Yeah.
not a communist, and didn't do anything. Then they came for the trade unionists. And I said, I'm not a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews.
Oh, you Mike.
And I said, I'm
I
not.
heard that donation.
And when they came for me, there was no one left. It's been an honor to talk to you, to present our side. I look forward to addressing you again on the issue of punitive damages. I have a lot to say about what the right number is. I look forward to that opportunity. Thank you.
And he's
All right,
done.
I think we probably need another very short break. Remember all of my instructions. Let's try to keep it to 10 minutes.
All rise.
Court is in recess. Court is in recess. All rise. Get the fuck out of my courtroom. Yeah, it's about the Sandy Hook shit. They're like, oh, my life is ruined because Alex Jones said it was fake. What did Jones do? 7, how you doing, my man? Alex Jones. This is the Sandy Hook's trial for, I think it was like defamation or damages or whatever the fuck the case may be. Yeah, I think that's what it's about. Anyways, it's all a bunch of baby-lalas. He finally ate his neighbors. Yeah, he finally ate his neighbors. So, whatever. Bunch of baby lalas crying. Alex said it wasn't real.
All right, let's start 10 minutes. Use the restroom.
Whatever.
Totally necessary.
Bunch of crybabies. I was just sitting here playing on the laptop doing some stuff. And all of a sudden this came on, so I figured I would play around, and now the courtroom's empty. Old Spice deodorant? Where the fuck do you see Old Spice deodorant? That's not Old Spice. That's Everyman Jack. That's got no aluminum, no baking soda, no nothing. Yeah, see that? I don't want that shit going in my body. Right there. Boom. Spaceman Jack, baby. Oh, yeah. Ouch, we are getting to see Wayne's bedroom. No, this is just a spare bedroom. Tylenol? Where's the Tylenol? Oh, yeah, up here. Yeah. I also have Advil. So I got Advil and Tylenol. And I also got I got some A535 spray rub. Don't use this to jerk off, by the way. And that's it. That's all I got. That's it. What am I cooking? Nothing. That's not Ben Gates. A5. That's A535. I saved the Ben Gay for you. Here, look at this. So this is what I'm streaming on right now. Okay. Do you ever see a mouse pad like that? That's a monitor. See that? So I can take this and move it up here, or I can bring it down here. Fancy. No, I traded my MacBook for it. I traded the MacBook Pro for it. So I don't know if it was it definitely works better. Well, the MacBook, I couldn't stream with the MacBook. It was like jittery and everything else. So this here, at least I could stream with this. And I could stream with two different, right now it's like having a 3-screen setup. So I traded the MacBook that I had for it. The MacBook wasn't powerful enough to stream. TV2 Live, how you doing? Jones going to get soaked? I don't know. I want to say he might, but I don't think he will, actually. I don't know. It's tough to say. It's tough to say. There's the whole freedom of speech, and then everybody's got to prove. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Yeah, probably they want to make an example out of him. Yeah. So, we'll see what happens. Your blinds are fucked up. Well, live in a shed. What can I say? I wasn't even sure if I was streaming on YouTube. I wasn't even sure if I was. No, I live in a house. Um, I wasn't even sure if this was streaming to YouTube. I just hit stream on OBS, and it worked. So I thought it was going to Twitch, but I guess I was wrong. It took me like 2 minutes to find out where I was streaming. You're not gonna be living in a shed. You're not gonna be living in a shed. Trust me. We're not gonna let that fucking happen. No way, no how. No freaking way, no how. Me too, I'm out of work again. Yeah, well, it's been slow for pretty much everybody right now. I hope, well, yeah, for me and you, 7. We'll have all that other stuff. It will be. You'll see. No, your first statement was right. They're in the voices you're hearing. It's just that. No, it'll be good. Hopefully a little sooner. I got word that things might happen a little quicker. So if they happen a little quicker, we're going. But right now, yeah, life sucks. Life sucks, but life's good at the same time. The happiest poor person you know. Yeah. Gotta eat the cereal with a fork to pass it to the next person. Gotta jerk off the dog to feed the cat. Yeah. Doing great once Kamala takes over. Oh, yeah, right. Kamala. Right? Now that's funny shit right there. Kamala. Maybe. I heard the monkeypox vax is not have gay is not have gay sex. Well, I don't know. It seems to be all the people that are getting it right now. It seems to be the gay community, but again, that's the community that is all touchy-feely, lovey-dovey right now. So it's not. I don't think it's exclusive to your sexual preference, but it is. It just goes to show you that people just don't give a shit right now. It's proven what?
We got left, Joey.
She didn't say.
It's proven only gay people get it.
I returned your.
Well, there's 3 people in my town that have it, and they're not gay. But the one's a slut. No, it's just the one's a slut. Let's see. So, so Nancy Pelosi went to Taiwan, eh? She went to Taiwanese. China's fucking losing their shit. And the first thing she does when she gets there is she texts, United States stands with America. So stupid. And then she makes a statement saying that the United States stands with the security of of Taiwan. Like, what the fuck is she thinking? So stupid. to start a war. She doesn't speak for me. Whether she speaks for you or not, she's gonna start a war. She's 80 million years old, and Biden is too. Yeah, but they stand by the China 1 BS too. Right, bullshit too. That's what I mean. Oh, we stand by the China, the one China or China 1, the one China thing bullshit, and then they turn around and say that they stand. It's all fucking game. China's not gonna fuck around. They're fucking around with the wrong person. China's not gonna wait. Should be a limit on age to run office. Should be something, that's for fucking sure. All right, it looks like they're coming back into the courtroom. I think that's all the jury right there. Bam, 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 bam. Yeah, what does she care if she starts a war? She's 80,000 years old. She's about to die anyways.
She says it's because it gets started.
Right? I think someone just donated on Katie's channel. She looked like a mummy walking. She looks like something, that's for fucking sure. You just like her boobs, Seven. Seven likes her boobies. Here comes.
I can come get it.
Here comes the judge.
Turn around.
I actually.
Or leave it, whatever, but don't let me run into it again. You may be seated. Okay. I think you're gonna bring it back over.
It's fine, it's fine.
Her
Okay.
2x6 plank.
Right?
Right?
No, we have a failure over there. Okay, all right. You may begin.
We apparently are still living in this Alex Jones conspiracy world where nothing's as what it seems. That somehow, I assume, lawyers here weaponized Neil and Scarlett to try to take down Alex Jones. We weaponized them. Take down Alex Jones. Like, we're the deep state now. This weird conspiracy theory where you guys were handed.
Hey, is there an
The
echo?
judge is part of the deep state. And this is a script, a literal script, as they said on the show just a couple days ago.
Seven, do you see a
That's the conspiracy theory that's spinning. in
is there
this
an
room
echo
right
for
now.
you?
Because that's the conspiracy theory that Alex Jones wants the world to believe. When you return a verdict and you say, this is not what we do in society. We don't tell lies about people. We don't hurt people. That's the spin that he wants to put on. That's what just happened. That's what that closing was all
Okay.
about. That we got, that they lied to Dr. Lubit and Mr. Crouch about their treatments. Mr. Crouch said in 2013, Neil talked about conspiracy theories, about people making money and profits off his dad or off his son. They have called them liars for 10 years to make money. And they sat here and called them liars to save money. That's what just happened. You appreciate the irony of that. Anything to make money or to save money, anything that will stomp on absolutely anybody, and they stomped on them and they have to pay for what they broke. That's what they have to do. The full videos, they're in evidence. I don't understand.
Hey, Chad, how you doing?
Defendants keep saying that. I don't want to play you an hour or 2 hours of a full video of all kinds of crazy conspiracy theories. We
I'm not
focus
sure.
on the Sandy Hook ones. That makes a whole lot of sense because this case is about Sandy Hook. Why would I play you his conspiracy theories about frogs being gay? Why would I play that to you? That doesn't make any sense. You don't want to see that. I don't want to see that.
I want to
They're
see
in
frogs
evidence. You
being
can watch
gay.
them if you want. More importantly, Mr. Renal could have played them at any point he wanted to. He could have played them to you. He did once. He played a 51-minute The very first witness that he got up, he played a full
Let
video.
me see.
And I think he realized that was a horrible idea.
Keep them.
That didn't help my client at all. It just
give me
showed how many people he will stomp
How
on
much?
to get more clicks to
Tell
buy
us that
more or sell
we
more pills.
just tell the
That's all
story. We
it
had to put
shows.
ours down,
If you want to watch them,
and we'd
they're
like one
here. All however many. I'll
That's
take your word
perfect. That's
for it.
a
It was
wiener
18
dog.
something hours.
for Wiener.
So we showed you, what was it? What did he say? We showed 9
Yes,
minutes,
do it.
10 minutes?
Why?
Yeah, that's the
Yes.
part.
Send it to me.
Those are the parts where he defames people and he intentionally inflicts emotional distress on people and it affects them. And this idea that they didn't watch him, yeah, they don't watch his show. Big shock. What did Mr. Crouch talk? We talked about that. Finding out someone lies to you secondhand is worse because you know what it means? The lie is spreading. If someone comes to your face and just lies to you and no one else hears it, it ain't great. But it's definitely not as bad as someone comes over to you and says, hey, there's a guy on a national broadcast, actually, take it back, worldwide broadcast, lying about you. That hurts because the lie is spreading. By definition, because you didn't hear it from the horse's mouth, definitionally spreading. The number of times this idea of he's apologized has come up is troubling to me. What is he apologizing for? His lawyer just stood up and said $8 should take care of their pain, the harm. So he clearly doesn't think he hurt these people. You clearly don't think you hurt him if you think it's worth $8. He said they've been victimized by 4 different people. And then he listed them off. And I was like, well, surely the last one's Alex Jones, right? You can't possibly list people that have victimized Neil and Scarlett and not say the word Alex Jones, the name Alex Jones. He did. What's he apologizing for? That's why an apology doesn't matter. It's not real.
Yeah, it's crazy right
never
now.
been real. It's fake. It means absolutely nothing to Neil and Scarlett because they've heard it. It means absolutely nothing to Alex Jones because he doesn't mean it. He made this excuse that he was tricked by the truthers. He's the Pied Piper of the truthers. They're following him wherever he goes, and he spews hate. That's what gets people riled up. That's what gets people to their house. That's what gets bullet holes through his car.
Turn the fan on the
That's what gets
courtroom.
death threats.
Needs moving air. Turn the fan on the courtroom. Needs
Yes,
moving.
I guess
Yeah,
that's-
right.
yeah. Just 0.16% of the time.
It's probably AC in there.
That's 99. So we're saying 99.84% of the time he's not defaming or inflicting emotional distress on them. Congratulations.
It's probably
If I
got air
was in
conditioning
court
in there.
In a criminal case, I said, Judge, 99.8% of the time, I don't steal anything. Nothing. That's not a defense. That's crazy. Doesn't
Just to
matter
move the
what he
air
does
around,
all the other
maybe?
time. It matters what he does when he's defaming people and when he's intentionally inflicting emotional distress on people. That's what matters. When he's spreading lies about the parents of Sandy Hook, that's what matters. That's why we brought you those videos. Pre-existing condition, I can't. So
Note that all you have to do
He
is
says they're not
apologize,
harmed,
and
but if they
it
are
will
harmed,
be better
it was
unless
something else.
you are conservative. Then no matter what apology
And he
you
has
give,
this weird thing
don't
about
mean
the
it.
bow and arrow.
Oh, that's right.
And that nobody examined the arrows. People examine the arrows.
Definitely a
Dr.
kangaroo
Lucan
court.
examined the arrows. Mr. Crouch examined the arrows. And he said they are broken. They are injured. And it came from Alex Jones. Nobody else came. They had the ability to call somebody on the stand and say, no. Hold up. They're not either hurt or their damage is clearly from the loss of Jesse, not the lies spread about him in a worldwide forum. 19 hours or 18 hours of lies spread in a worldwide forum. That's not what hurt him. They didn't do that. There's a reason. There's no psychiatrist, psychotherapist in the world that would say that.
Hey Tiffany,
They
how
have
you doing?
Separate and distinct injuries. There's no question. And you know the easy way to know it? Fear. Jesse's murder didn't cause them fear. It caused them unimaginable grief that they started to recover from. Fear is caused by Alex Jones and him weaponizing. We're talking about weaponizing. Him weaponizing
R37,
mentally
yeah,
unstable people.
I
to go
agree with
after.
you.
Fear tells you there's two separate and distinct injuries. This is a quick aside. The July 20th, 2017 video, they said they never played. It's because they destroyed it. That's why we never played it. They didn't tell you that. What does $150 billion mean? Mr. Bernal talked about that. Yeah, about 6 months of revenue. At Infowars, that's what it means. Ms. Karpova testified. She said one thing that was interesting. She said words.
So if you
are
say
Alex Jones' weapon.
Kenny wasn't killed,
This
the
verdict
family can bring
your
you
weapon to write
in
a
court for
serious
trauma? I guess
wrong.
so.
that happened.
Exactly,
to
Uncle
Neil and
Wayne.
Scarlett.
Or if you say Alvis still lives,
Mr. Arnold said twice.
Alvis still lives, they can sue you.
I hope this is a verdict you can look back at 20 years and be proud of. Yeah, so do I. I hope you look back at this verdict for years and you're proud of it. So go do it.
All right, thank you. In a moment, you will retire to the jury room, select your presiding juror, who will read the charge, and then begin your deliberations.
Alex Jones trial.
We will bring you the
Over the
original
Sandy
charge, which is the one that should be signed by the presiding juror if the verdict is unanimous, or signed by the 10 or 11 of you if it is not unanimous. We will also bring all of the exhibits to you in a few minutes. You should not be concerned if the exhibits are not in sequential order. And if there are any redactions, don't let that worry you either. Those are decisions that have been made in the admission of that evidence.
That was it? That was his argument?
After you select your presiding juror, I need you to let my judicial executive assistant know who that is. Now, I want to be really clear. You are finally going to be able to discuss what you have heard in this room. You must all 12 be in the room anytime there is any.
I'm gonna say not guilty.
or discussion. So if somebody needs a break, everybody takes a break. You are free to work all day long, including through lunch.
I'm gonna say
I think
not
that's
guilty,
been our routine so far, so we'll probably continue.
but probably be guilty
If
because
you
of
take
it.
a long break,
They want to make an
do
example of
let
it.
us
But
know.
if he's found
So
guilty,
say
this
more
will
than
set a
15
precedence that nobody
might
could
have
talk
to
about
be-
conspiracy stuff.
Anything else? Any questions about that part? It's 4:36. My guess is you're not going to get much beyond presiding juror today, and that's fine. You can start as early as 8:30. All right, so you're excused, and when you're all together, we can talk.
All rise.
Yeah, oh, go on. Shut the door behind you, please. You may all be seated. This time I do need one.
Just change the channel if you don't like or agree.
Exhibits for me, please.
How come the judge is not
As a
standing?
reminder, I'll need you to state on the record that you examined the exhibits and that those are being taken to the jury room. Are all admitted, should be taken to the jury room. Any necessary redactions have been made, and otherwise, any objections will be deemed waived.
I'm just gonna keep on.
Please do, yes. And you might want to have Mr. Banks confirm with you. You can go off the record for.
She's standing up. Yeah, exactly.
And 67.
Change the date.
Sure.
It's 2017. What is it?
No, the title that was on that file. What is that file? No, the words that
Turn
are.
your phone off, please.
Yeah, we don't have.
Oh,
titles
7
on our
for
file.
sure.
We don't have descriptive titles. I'm not sure.
I'll see if I can get you a sniff.
Why don't you just title it Defense Exhibit 67? What about up here?
I'll check here. I'll just wait my, yeah, let's do that.
I left my list in my office.
See if we
I
can get you a
it,
sniffer
but-
I
Rooney.
think I'm a.
This is the court's little look around.
Okay, so that's Exhibit 67.
It is, it's very small. Would you like me to put it?
I don't, why don't you give it? Give Doris one bag. Should you bring this back? Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Why don't you label the bag with the exhibits first?
Oh yeah, gonna be good. Gonna be good.
Yes.
I remember correctly, it requires custody.
Where,
I've done safety kind of evidence.
okay, let me go get my, list, because I don't have that. I left it in my office. I'll be right back.
All rise.
All rise.
All rise.
That's all right. Everyone in the gallery can relax. And the lawyers. Okay. I'm gonna do it. Defense exhibit.
What's that, Tiffany?
Hang
I've
on.
decided to donate everything I
Defense
bought to
exhibit
send to
67.
your kids
That's all.
because the shipping
And I have
costs
some recordings.
more than everything in the box. When we get our savings built back up, I will. Oh, Tiffany, don't even worry about it.
You're
Tiffany.
asking me which ones were.
Oh, good.
All I'm asking you is also 6 days and I will. Don't worry about it, actually.
Oh, good, Tiffany. Thank you. I didn't even know. Is that something you were talking to Katie about? Tiffany was sending stuff to the kids? No, she just said something here.
Remember the car.
Tiffany, that's awesome. But that's awesome that somebody's gonna get that stuff too. I think that's cool as well.
It's like that.
Kids are the future.
I guess that was right for the first scheduled trial. Yeah, it was April 11th.
That's awesome, Tim. Bless you. Thanks, Tiffany. I appreciate it. Tiffany said she loves me more. She said everyday mom's okay, but she loves me more.
All right.
Yeah, she said it.
Oh, okay, let's go back on the record. Okay, so both sides have had an opportunity to examine all of the exhibits. So we'll start with Mr. Bankston. Do you verify that you have examined the exhibits? Those that are being taken to the jury room
Well,
are all
Tiffany, I
admitted,
appreciate it.
should be taken to the jury room. All necessary redactions have been made.
I agree, Your Honor.
All right, same question, Mr. Reynolds.
I agree, Ron.
All right, then we'll go back off the record. Let's hand all of those exhibits to my Steel. And, yes, okay. All right, okay. The jury, is allowed to deliberate until 5. It starts at 8:30. Well, I will deal with that. I will continue to do that. So they'll probably work all day, so I do require one minimum, this is a minimum requirement, one counsel for each party. So one of you must be in the building at all times while the hearing. Parties are not required to remain. They're not required to be here when the verdict is read. That is between the party and counsel. For this week, you have, you can continue to use this space. You can continue to use the other space we provided for you. If you have not already given my staff your cell phone numbers, I need to. Let me think, what else? The reason you have to be here is if they have a question.
Right, sure.
You have to come in here and we'll talk about it.
Sure. My question was, when we are informed the verdict is in, if I wanted to have plaintiffs off site, how long would they have to be here before the verdict?
Like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty fast, but you can continue to use the
Sure.
space we've provided.
I appreciate that, Your Honor.
Yeah, that's fine. Any other questions?
Which, did they say what time they put it in tomorrow?
I'll find out. My guess is 8:30, but you don't have to be here until 5. They're not gonna.
Right.
It's not gonna go that fast, so. So you can come in at 8:30. I mean, for some reason, you don't have to be here till 9. That's when I get there. So, they finish at 8:45.
Right, Dev?
I get here just a few minutes before 9 most days, so. All right, I'm gonna just write down my numbers here and then we will. Also, actually, I have another hearing on Friday. I'm not sure how I'm gonna work that out, but they'll wait. They'll wait for us.
Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button.
Anything else?
No. If Rick, can I find Miss Madchek's dealer?
Why don't you just give it to me?
Sure, no
I'm
problem.
happy to hear it.
I rewrote it in the order of who it most likely to.
Okay, good to know. I might have guessed that. Did you already give somebody on my staff your cell phone number?
Let me write it down.
Okay.
I left my wallet. So I'll just write it
Sure,
down.
that's fine.
Do I have any?
Do you?
Yes.
I don't think Ms. Matrick still has had a chance to come in here and make anything on, so I assume it's still going. Thanks.
All rise.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
Oh, shit.
Let's go, Doug.
Oh, I'm gonna give it to you because I.
Okay, thank you. See ya.
We're gonna hang out for a minute.
They're hyped up today, and they're scared people are streaming well on. As a media person, the whole person saying, when you get down to the limo, make sure that nobody sees the rifle. Wait, the security.
It's not something to scream. Me too. Plus, I got 413. Oh, where's he at? Bailey. Turbay. How do you say?
Exactly.
Turbay. Turbay.
Scary phrase, something else. So we're gonna stay up here for.
That's exactly it. They're just trying to get as much as they can.
Yes, you can.
Is this live? Yeah, this is live. It's all live, baby.
Hey, Kyle.
Hey man, but you guys did a great job. Okay, let's ask you a question.
Yeah, this is all live. I was just playing around and I seen this, so I figured I'd throw it up on YouTube. What the hell? Hit the thumbs up, guys. If you forgot to hit the thumbs up, hit the thumbs up. Yes, I'm a bot.
Inspired to start writing? Writing books?
You've been looking for an hour? Oh, well, then you need to subscribe to my channel.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
Hey, Chad, you like that? I just got a bunch of them in and I'm sending them out.
I did too.
Yeah.
Because of what was the problem, right?
Wolfgang. Where's he stream? Where does Wolfgang stream? Chad, do you know where Wolfgang streams?
I assume they came there. And yeah, get whoever's driving this.
Oh. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
It's okay, Mike. You can have her. Really? That sucks. Chad, could you send me an email, please?
Oh, yeah. Number 8.
Chad, send me an email, please. All right. Yeah, Chad, if you can send me an email, please, that'd be cool.
Today, Joe Biden proved to primetime that he's compromised. He's not really in charge. Biden's just been a front man for the national security state. After taking a 2-hour phone call with our biggest enemy, Chinese President Xi Jinping, Biden came out of it with nothing. According to readouts from the call, Biden never brought up the Wuhan lab leak, and he didn't confront China with flooding our country with fentanyl. The Chinese actually threatened Joe Biden on the call and said if we mess around with Taiwan, quote, those who play with fire perish by it. And Biden just took it. And the White House put out a statement like a good little boy and said the two presidents discussed a range of issues important to the bilateral relationship and other regional and global issues. The call was a disaster. but it's all a part of the bigger scandal involving all the major players in Washington. The people who run Washington, D.C. know Joe Biden's compromised. Washington knew it before they put him in the Oval Office. They've been running cover for the Biden family for years and have been selling Americans out for money and power. The entire Biden family, Joe, his brother Jim, son Hunter, they've all been caught in bed with China. Hunter's been caught with Chinese spies, and the intelligence community buried it. The FBI schemed to discredit and downplay Hunter's laptop. It worked. It got Joe elected. Dozens of CIA officials came in to say it was just Russian disinformation, even though they knew it was real, because the intelligence community has known what the Biden family has been up to this whole time. The CIA has known about Hunter and the Chinese.
All right, we're going to talk about that later on tonight. For now, I'm going to end the stream right there. So we can leave that like that. I'll leave the title Alex Jones. If I get into a bunch of other stuff, I'm going to have to change the title and everything else. So I'm going to leave that there, and then I'll probably come back on live in a couple minutes. But just as a general chatting or whatever. Said 2 years ago, Biden equals China, right? All right, guys. So I'm going to end the stream there, and I will see you guys in a little bit. Love you. Be good, or be good at it.